Hi guys, welcome to the Coronation Street review. This is the first of a hopefully weekly series where I'm going to be reviewing all the events that happened on the cobbles. I'm going to be talking about characters who I think have been good characters, if anyone's acting out of character, the standout moments of the week, bits I can remember. I'm just going to review the whole week, talk about what I think, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. At the moment, I think it's getting more exciting again, Coronation Street. It was last week. It was declining a bit in quality. I was getting a bit bored with it. It wasn't really until Friday with the whole feeling thing that it's really starting to pick up again, and it's really starting to interest me a bit more. So I'm going to go through some of the storylines. I think obviously the most important storyline, the biggest storyline. I don't think it's fair to say most important, but the biggest storyline is definitely the one going on with Phelan. Now, Phelan for me, I think he's a brilliant character. I remember when he came back a couple of years ago to the soap, I was so pleased because he was such a good character, and he's really not disappointed for me. I think a lot of people don't really like him as a character and can't wait for him to get his comeuppance. I'm dreading that really because I think he just adds so much to the show. He really does. He makes the show worth watching a lot more. I feel it's almost like in Emmerdale when Emma was killed off, that took away a bit from the show, but Emmerdale's recovered, and I imagine once Phelan goes, the quality of writing, I think Coronation Street can recover as well, but it will be such a shame when Phelan gets his comeuppance. But at the same time, it is something I'm looking forward to see his fall from grace as it was. But yeah, the storyline this week, all we've really seen of him was in Friday's episode, which again is why it's only really started to become more exciting, because you've got that storyline where he's followed Faye to Nicola's house because Nicola's harbouring Seb. Faye knows this because she's found the prescription from Gary, and Phelan overhears Faye booking a taxi in the cab office. There's quite a funny scene as well where Phelan tells Steve not to eat Eileen's cake, which I found very funny. I rewound it and watched it again because I found it quite entertaining. So he follows Faye, and again it's scary. It is actually, well, I guess I wouldn't say scary, although there was that storyline where he killed Andy and Vinny. Well, his name wasn't really Vinny, it was Harvey or something, but that's, I'm digressing. I mean, again, that wasn't particularly scary. It was very dark, a lot darker than you'd expect to see, at 8:30 on a Friday evening, especially on a soap, because I imagine that was probably repeated on the omnibus on Saturday, Sunday morning, and then Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. But yeah. But no, I think Phelan's a great character, and the storyline is quite. I am worried for the characters. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I hope that Nicola, his daughter, isn't going to be any harm since she is carrying Phelan's grandson. Although secretly, Nicola doesn't want this child she's carrying to have anything to do with Phelan, and rightly so, because she believes she knows what he's capable of, but she still doesn't know the full extent of what he can do. She doesn't know anything about Andy or Vinny, or I mean, I think Gary said that he suspects that Phelan killed Michael and Luke. He killed Luke, but Michael was sort of an accident. It wasn't really his fault. Well, it was his fault because he scared Michael. That was ages ago. So I wouldn't really count that as a murder, but I'd definitely say he was partly responsible for Michael's death, and his deliberate failure to ring an ambulance and save his life could sort of say, yeah, maybe he's a murderer, but I really only see his murders of Andy, Vinny, and most recently Luke. I think that really says it all about Phelan. You've got a lot of characters starting to get a lot very paranoid around him. Tim wants to leave, go to his dad's with Faye, his daughter, because he's very scared. Although if he was that scared, I mean, this is the first sort of suspension of disbelief. If he is that scared of Phelan being around Faye, then why did he allow her to be unsupervised the whole day? And I mean, you can make the point that she's a teenager and that, but the fact was Phelan followed Faye. Phelan was around Faye, and Tim was completely clueless, and he's so paranoid about what this man can do, and he wants to leave with Faye because he's so scared. But at the same time, Faye had contact with Phelan. Faye was effectively being stalked by Phelan, and I think if Tim had known that, he would have definitely put the pedal to the metal and driven off with her, rightly so. So yeah, I think I've covered everything to do with that storyline. The other big storyline on the show at the moment is Eva. Oh, and Carla as well. We'll move on to Carla, but we'll talk about Eva first. Eva is pregnant. Thankfully, she didn't go through with the abortion, and instead she's going to give her baby, which I believe was going to be a girl, to Toya and Peter. Now because Toya and Peter were going to, I'm just going to explain this all because obviously it's my first review. I wouldn't normally explain things that happened weeks prior. But yes, Toya and Peter were going to have a surrogate who was going to carry a baby for them, but unfortunately the surrogate miscarried and the babies died. Now Toya knows this, but Peter does not, because Toya was about to tell Peter, and she went to his AA meeting, his Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and she overheard Peter saying that the only reason he's able to carry on not drinking is because of this baby that he's holding out for, and he hopes desperately it's going to be a girl. So of course, the second we found out that Eva's baby is a girl, it's gonna, we know this. And thankfully, again, Eva didn't have an abortion. Toy was able to sort of say to Eva what all of us watching were thinking: Eva, just give Toya your baby. But it is such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a big plan. It's such so conniving, I guess is a word you could use to describe it. It's so like, if Peter or anyone, or Aiden is the father of this baby that's growing inside Eva, or Adam as well. Adam is Eva's current partner. If any of them found out about Eva's baby, the consequences, could be drastic for everybody involved. So I imagine, because it is a soap, the truth will come out. Just when it comes out, I don't know. I'd like to see, the storyline being dragged on a bit. Peter needs time to connect with the baby. I think he's gonna name the baby after his sister that died, Susan, or Susie, little Susie Barlow. I think that's what he wants to call the baby, and I imagine Toya's probably going to let him do that. So the baby's going to have a name, Peter's going to grow very attached to the baby, and maybe that's when Aiden finds out about the fact that he's actually the father of this baby. Or maybe Eva doesn't want to give up the baby once she's had her rather, I should say. Now I've just noticed that the microphone I'm doing has an echo, so I'm just going to turn that off. I do apologise for the echo effect. Just turn that off. I hope that's a lot better. Anyway, going back to it, I think a lot of things could happen, but maybe Aiden's not going to be around, because Shane Ward, the actor that plays Aiden, you might remember from the X Factor, maybe he's going to die. He's gonna give Carla one of his kidneys, which transitions me so perfectly onto the next storyline about Carla, and the fact that Carla needs a kidney, and Aiden and Kate, who are Carla's half-brother and sister, respectively, are both a match and are both able to give Carla a kidney. However, Aiden's insisted that he's going to do it, and he's been going through the procedure to give a kidney. He's been told all the risks and what to expect and how it could be a success or it could be a failure. Maybe Aiden's gonna die. Maybe he's gonna die. He probably won't. But hey, now I don't really think there's anything else I can really say about the storyline. The storyline's been going on for a while, and although I do feel for Carla, and she's got a toy boy. She calls him Daniel. I mean, there's so many storylines going on, really, because then that brings us on to the whole Daniel and Sinead thing. Because I don't know how I feel about that. Because Sinead, gorgeous young lady. Chesney, I was never really a fan of Sinead and Chesney. But at the same time, I don't know about Daniel and Sinead either. But I'd love Sinead to find someone. Sinead, if you listen to this, just give us a ring. But it'd be nice for Sinead to find somebody. But I'm not sure about Chesney or Daniel really for Sinead. Although I'm quite liking the whole Carla Daniel partnership. I don't know why. It does seem very weird because I imagine Carla's like 60 years older than Daniel, and she's probably old enough to be his mum. Maybe her and Denise, that was Daniel's mum. Maybe they would go down to the bingo and then talk about him, and come back and see him. So I mean I've turned the echo back on, haven't I? I'll just turn that back off. What else happened? Oh yeah, Gemma. Oh, now Chesney and Gemma are getting together, aren't they? I mean that's something that's bound to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I like Chesney and Gemma being mates, and I'm not sure how I feel about this whole storyline with Gemma and Hugo. Because I get that it was a bet, and I think that's awful. That he was going to go out with her for a bet, but at the same time, he really did develop feelings for her, and do the ends justify the means? I mean, does it make it acceptable that even if his intentions weren't good at the start, his intentions are good at the end? Or is it completely unacceptable? And I don't like how he got completely violent with Chesney, because I mean it obviously shows how the writers' stance on the whole situation is that this man is completely in the wrong, even if he did develop feelings for her and did actually see a future, despite his initial intentions. But it seems clear that the writers want to make this perfectly clear that this man is completely in the wrong and should not have any more contact with Gemma, which I mean I get, and I think it does give a clear message to the audience not to string women along like this. But at the same time, I can't help but feel a little bit bad for him because he actually did develop feelings for her. Again, I'm not condoning his intentions at the start, because I think that's completely disgusting, disgraceful, yada yada yada. But at the end, he really did develop feelings for her and could see a future with her. So that's Gemma. And then again, Luke's murder. Again, that links us back to the first thing I was talking about. But yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the first deaths that's really taken a long time for a character to get over, because in real life, if somebody dies, it does take a while for people to get over it. Since Soapland, you get about 4 or 5 deaths a year, and most of the time, once a character dies, you have all the other characters, going back to work a few days later, which you wouldn't get in real life. But you've got Alia, she's still upset about Luke's death, even though it's been about a month. You had back when Katie died, Izzy found out. Izzy was Katie's sister. Izzy finds out, and obviously she's very distraught. But she's back at the factory a few days later, which it wouldn't happen in real life. But Alia, Alia's still there. She's still upset about Luke's murder, and I guess there's a reason for her to still be upset about it, because the killer is still at large. Phelan, the killer, is still at large, so there's a reason for it to still be upset, to show that Phelan's actions have had a real gravity on the whole community, and that justice needs to catch up with him. We've got a couple other storylines to talk about. I also wanted to go another comedy highlight of the week when Gemma was like, "I want to go to a different country," or yada yada yada, and then she said, "I'll just go up to Skegness," and then Kathy says to her, "Oh, Skegness is actually in this country." I did actually have a little laugh out loud moment there. So I'm going to talk about a bit of Rana and a bit of Zidane. Now, again, I've always really liked this couple, but I've actually been a really big fan of Rana and Kate. I really think it's a really strong pairing for the two of them. I never saw it coming. I never thought Rana and Kate would ever, become an item. But no, I'm very open to it. I think they're great together. They really bounce off each other. I mean, I think they can do. I don't really like Kate the way she's being so mardy with Rana. She's a bit of a grumpy so and so at times. The way she is with Rana, and I mean I can understand it because Rana for a long time was stringing her along, and I can understand the relationship's over. I imagine it's only going to be a matter of time before Rana and Kate get back together, and I'm hopefully so, because I really liked Rana and Kate, and it'd be nice that they can be more open, and I guess we can see more of Kate's bubbly character instead of the grumpy mare that she can be at times. And obviously, understandably, Zidane is very upset. But here's the thing: Rana's parents are very embarrassed to find out that their daughter is a lesbian. Why? I have absolutely no understanding why, because I feel like it's so wrong how, in this current year, you still have people shunning other people for, because they love somebody, and they love, quote unquote, the wrong person. The wrong person in their eyes, obviously, because love is love hashtag. So Rana's parents want Zidane to sign a contract agreeing to stay with Rana for a year, and in return they're going to give him a lot of money. Zidane's like, "That's not enough money. I want 10 grand more. I'm not going to be working alongside Kate," which I completely understand, because if your wife's been cheating on you, you don't want to be working with the person they've been cheating on you on. So yeah, I can understand that. So it's all right for Zidane. He's got a bit of money in the bank, but the problem is Leanne has told Yasmin. I forgot what her name was there for a second. Leanne has told Yasmin, and Yasmin is completely outraged, and she's like, "Rana, how could you do this to Zidane? It is very wrong that you did this." And we don't know what's going to happen then. Hopefully, for Zidane's sake, that they will sweep under the rug, because although it's awful for both Zidane and Rana to have to sweep this under the rug, I think this is good for Zidane, because it means he can get his business up and running, which is what he's always wanted. Rana's really hurt him. Well, at least he can get a business out of it, which I think is, I mean, it's a consolation prize, isn't it? But Zidane, good-looking lad. He can have any woman or any man if he chooses to go that way. It's current year. He can have anyone he wants. So I think that's everything I need to say about Rana and Zidane. So the last thing to talk about is Gina and her bipolar disorder, which is very interesting because it is one of the very first mental health storylines that Coronation Street have actually done, which in current year seems very very strange that they've not done something before. Actually, they did do Steve's depression storyline a while ago, but this is the first bipolar storyline, and I think it's an interesting challenge for the writers. I'm sure they've done a lot of research, as they always do. Brilliant writers on the show, as always. And it's interesting to really see life through the eyes of somebody that suffers from bipolarism. You've got Gina, who seems normal. She's doing the MOT. I think this was a couple of weeks before, but obviously I'll just mention it since this is the very first one, and it's good to have a catch up with everything. She's booking the MOT, even though she's in no fit state to be doing an MOT. She's not qualified, and she reckons she can handle it. And, there is something very wrong with her because she's not taking her medication. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting storyline, and I don't think it's had a lot less coverage than I would have expected it to have had, because I think it's always good to hear about a mental health storyline. I think it's always interesting, and there are a lot of people there that would be interested to hear about it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. I am interested, but as I said, it can be it can drag on a bit at times, and I mean that's the thing with the soap. They do 6 episodes a week, and they want storylines to last, so it's going to take a while. But as long as it's an entertaining ride, I don't see the problem with it being a long ride at the same time. So I think I've gone through everything that's happened this week. So if I have missed out anything that happened in Coronation Street that you would have liked me to talk about, leave me a comment below, and I will reply to that comment if I'm able to. I will reply to the comment, and I will mention it in my next podcast. So thank you very much for listening. I'm also doing an Emmerdale podcast as well, so if you're interested in that show, please be sure to give that a listen. But for now, guys, thank you very much for listening to me rambling for this last 21 minutes and 48 seconds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're subscribing, it's not enough to subscribe anymore. If you listen to all these other YouTubers, you've also got to click this bell so you're notified whenever I upload a video. You can click the bell if you like, but as long as you subscribe, that's the important thing, and watch the video and give it a good thumbs up. So thank you very much, guys, and I will speak to you again next week.